Hello and welcome back to TNN's coverage of the world's 9 best fantasy football players league. I'm your host, and this is what we have for you this week. Late breaking news from last week saw a big trade. Devontae Adams leaving the Coochie Gang and headed over to the Judon Noodles. To see what both teams had to say about the trade, TNN reached out for comment. With Week 9 now in the books, the playoff picture is starting to become much more clear. We send it out now to recap all of the exciting action from last week.
What's up, League? Welcome to a new TNN segment, the Timmy Skinny. I'm Timmy Shades, and each week I'll be giving you the skinny on what happened in last week's action. I'll give you something that stuck out to me in each matchup, and if you don't like it, take it out with Commissioner Tooch, unless your name's Visconti. First up, we had the SWAT team take down Slob in a not-so-close matchup. Josh Dobbs is so sick, and I think Nooch should actually shave his head to honor his namesake after a performance like that. Sadly, I think the SWAT team's back because, of course, they are. Ugh. Next, we saw Hammond throw smoke UNL, and unfortunately, this means Sconti is only further convinced that his team is good. But fortunately, UNL, after years of getting high draft picks from other teams, gonna give a high one away this year. So, sweet. Blood, Sweat, and Beers took a close L from the mental brick walls. And I don't know why Brett hates his team, but maybe it's some residual Bears pain, something like that. If Cub had started Burrow over Tua, he would have won, so that's brutal. Or is it? The Bandits bonked Mahorny with ease. And Max Crosby is insane, and I mean that literally. Joe's team is on life support, and apparently so is his love life. So, prayers up for my boy Joe. Team M. Vanek slurped up the nudes. Hey, yo. Death by Tank Dell and Cole Kmet. Stuff. Didn't see that coming. Do the nudes need to make another trade? People are asking. And I wish I had a source that could confirm or deny, but I don't got the plugs like that, like Danny Football, so we'll never know. And in our final matchup, I'm not even gonna say the team names because it was the saddest pillow fight maybe ever. All I got is woof. Ugh. Each week, we'll be ending the Timmy Skinny with our one big thing. And that's just one thing we can take away from this week. One thing to remember. Week 9's one big thing is Brett the worst division drafter in the history of the earth? TNN is trying to get Stephen A. Smith to weigh in. We'll let you know. See y'all next week.
And now, here's Danny Football with his picks for Week 10. Hey, what's up, guys? World's 9 best fantasy football players expert, Danny Football here, back with another week of expert predictions. Last week, pretty good for me, going 4-2, bringing my total on the year up to a very nice 34-20. My guest, Brett, had an alright week, going 3-3, unfortunately not being able to beat the expert. But now, it's a new week. There's a new guest and a new chance to beat the expert. So, guest, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Thanks, Danny Football. World's 9, this is owner of the historic franchise. Not necessarily the most historic, but
it's up there.
An historic franchise.
It's up there.
The Mahorny organization. I am Joe. I'm here to play a scary football game.
Joe, as the first in-person guest of the season, unfortunately, no wings this year, or at least right now. My stomach deserves a little break. We've got a nice, fun little game for you to play. We're going to play Heads Up. We have a certain amount of cards. Joe and I are going to put them on our heads and try to get the other person to guess. It's going to be head-to-head, and as a nice little perk, if you manage to beat the expert, get more points. As we all know for the show, the tie goes to the expert. But this week, if you beat the expert, the tie will go to the guest.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, Danny football. Letting go of the reins a little bit here.
Look, this is season 4. We got to change it up. Things are getting a little crazy. So we're going to grab our cards. So we're going to have 2 minutes on the clock. All right. Start. This guy's the quarterback for the Bills. Big arm.
Josh Allen.
Yeah. He's a kicker on the Bengals.
Is that Mac something?
Yes.
McPherson?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Alliterative name. On the Pats. Used to be on the Steelers.
Juju.
Yes. Pass. This guy has really long episodes whenever he's on.
Miguel?
Yes. The team that I hate. Everyone knows I hate this team.
Oh, Hamilton?
Yes. One of Nooch's old names. Based off of J.D. McKissick.
McKiss my balls.
Yep.
Bleep that, please.
Pass. First pick in this past year's draft, the NFL draft.
Oh, I don't know.
Quarterback, Panthers.
CJ?
No.
No.
Pass. Mike Vanek has this team, but it's what his team was called last year.
Team Sam Hinkie?
Yes. One of Tom's old teams, the Weeknd song, but in football form. Pass. Giants quarterback.
Danny Dimes.
Yeah. This guy runs the wheel, the Survivor wheel.
Oh, Brett.
Yep. Timmy's team.
The Nudes?
Yes. Soft. Does not eat a lot of pizza.
Would that be Matthew Bianchi?
Yes.
Okay.
Jake. No. Wait.
Ding, ding, ding.
Okay.
Wow, that was pretty good. The expert.
That was pretty good.
How many was that?
I would never have gotten this.
Yeah.
That's in it to win it.
Not happening. All right. Let's get a count. 11 points for the expert.
That was a weekend pun?
Yeah.
Tom, I thought this was like a Springsteen pun.
I mean, it could be that too.
It could have been his picture.
All right, Joe, you got to beat 11.
11,
Give me a
okay.
sec.
You got 2 minutes.
Is it a little bit harder this time, so you're going to give me 2 minutes and 25 seconds?
No, I think they're pretty equal.
We do
That's
not
Family
play by
Feud
Family
rules.
Feud rules. Yeah.
I did, when we did wings, I did give you one extra hot one on accident. So, I didn't tell you that.
You've been holding this in for a year?
Maybe.
3, 2, 1, go. You ride their train every week.
The Bandits.
Pass. The old Birds tight end.
Zach Ertz.
Yep. Jacob receiver on the Saints. Starts with an O.
Olave.
Yep. The Bandits defensive gonna win them the league this week.
Myles Garrett.
There you go. Miguel's team.
Undefeated, never lost. Historic.
Oh.
Then he waddled away.
No. The
Jalen
player.
Waddle.
Yes. Notre Dame receiver with an awesome name and a brother on the Lions.
Equanimous St. Brown.
The worst owner in the league.
Visconti.
Yes! Maybe the best owner in the league.
Me?
No.
Sorry, I don't have a team.
Pass. It was Tom. Oh, backwards hat. Dressed like Danny Football every time.
Grayson?
No.
He
He pays a lot of attention to the league.
Commissioner Tooch?
No.
Will DeTremp?
Yes! Pass. Taylor Swift's boyfriend.
Travis Kelce.
Mm. Pikachu.
Puka. Nakua.
Pass. Pass. But holy. Egregious naming. You got it.
Give me something else.
Pass. Kicker on the Chiefs.
Harrison Butker.
Yes. God, Nooch's team. The name.
Bart Harley, Jarvis Landry.
No, that was before
No.
the new team.
Slob.
Yes.
That was Ding.
But I think we lost
I
it.
think you were.
Doesn't count.
Alright, I'll count it.
What if we tie?
Tie goes to the expert.
No, there's more cards, guys. We can keep going.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12!
I didn't even need the extra point! Ah! That was huge. Thank you, EP.
You passed on AJ Brown.
I froze.
So, Joe, congratulations. If we tie this week, you get to come back to the playoffs.
And we get to do this again.
We get to do it all over again. For all those at home complaining about it's unfair for people who live in New York to get the tiebreaker, just move to the city.
Yeah, that's a
Simple
pretty
as
good fix.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's easy.
For all those who will be visiting me, Danny Football, in person this year in New York, we have a second gimmick that was given to Commissioner Tooch for his birthday. For all the fans of Survivor out there. Yeah, Joe, if you want to grab. We have the classic snake. Basically, if you haven't seen the show, the goal is you wiggle it up. There's a ball that starts all the way down here, and you got to get it all the way up to snake into this hole at the top. I was going to say that this would be what gives Joe the tiebreaker, because I thought there was no way he would beat me.
That's
but
just so mean.
now it's just going to be for time and pride's sake against the other people who show up this year. So we'll be able to see how much
I need like a shim.
Joe is able to pay attention and make his picks while wiggling up that snake.
All right. Careful with the language here. This is a family show.
Oh, wait, do you want me to film him?
Yes, if you
Okay.
could.
Can I say hi?
Sure. All right, Joe, in our first matchup,
Oh.
we have the Coochie Gang taking on the Tex Arcana Bandits. We've got the Bandits favored at 53% in this one. I think this matchup is actually going to be kind of interesting to watch. As we all know, the Eagles have their bye week, which is huge for the Bandits. Look, the Bandits team, they've been hot. I've been riding this team all year. Fans of the show, Joe, I know you're a fan of the show.
Huge fan of the show.
I've been high on the Bandits. And as much as I love this team, when the Eagles are on a bye, it's going to be tough even for Trayvon Walker himself to take this team out of the depths and just absolute scraping the bottom of the barrel that they're going to need this week in order to pull off the win. Luckily for them, they are going up against a Coochie Gang team, which I think is probably giving up on this season. I really liked the Devontae trade for them. Someone you got to just get rid of. Unfortunately, I don't think they're going to be very competitive down the stretch. I think they're probably going to want to get rid of some more guys. And for that reason, I got to stay on the Bandits train. This is really, really shaky territory for Grayson. I would not be surprised if he lost just because of how many buys he has. But I'm sticking with the Bandits. On the train, choo-choo, going with the Bandits this week.
Choo-choo indeed.
Joe, what are your thoughts on this one?
I think that your analysis, Danny Football, on the bye week is huge. This is really hard to do while speaking and thinking about other things. The bye week with the Dolphins and the Eagles and the Chiefs all off this week
It's huge.
is crazy. I mean, it's devastating for a lot of teams around the league. I think it's devastating for the Bandits, like you said. I do not think that Trayvon Walker is as good as people say. I've watched the tape.
Really?
I've watched it.
Okay.
He's not good. Well, he's fine.
Oh!
Okay. Getting very close here. Oh! No. All right. Let me finish the pick.
Yeah.
Shit. What am I saying?
Trayvon Walker, not that good.
Trayvon Walker
Egregious take.
I mean, I think it's a pretty lukewarm take. That being said, I know Tom probably should be throwing the rest of the season, but as a person, he's not a quitter, so I don't think he's going to quit. That being said, I am going with the Cuckoo Coconuts this week.
Really?
In the upset.
Wow. Bold prediction.
Don't take me off the Bandits train because I still like them, but I just think that this is not their week.
Will
the NFL schedule makers conspired against them?
Yeah, not great for the Bandits.
Really bad.
All right, next up, we have Undefeated Never Lost taking on the Mental Brick Walls. Undefeated Never Lost, actually favoring this one at 54%. Joe, who do you like in this matchup?
Let's see. You've got Miguel's conglomerate ownership. Brett, I very much appreciated your the meme last week with Charlie Day. That definitely spoke, I think, volumes about Miguel's strategy. And this is so hard to do. It's so hard to do. I would not survive on Survivor. I'm going... Oh!
Tough.
I think Brett's hit hard by the bye this week too, right?
Yes, he is. That Undefeated Never Lost is favored in this matchup, if that tells you how hard Brett is being hit by the bye.
Yeah, I'm going with the brick walls because UNL is UNL, and I think that Miguel and Danny and Roberto Kraft should start training for the beer mile now because they're going to need it if you're going to beat Mike Vanek's epic time next year.
Yeah, I like that pick, going with the brick walls here. I'd like to point out, I had the TNN sports analytics people crunch the numbers. We hadn't had the TNN power rankings in a long time. So you put in a little request that said, I'd like to talk about it this week. And one interesting thing from the power rankings is that Undefeated Never Lost is actually the unluckiest team in the league this season.
I did notice that. They are getting hammered.
They are getting absolutely hammered. So I think this team is actually a little bit better than people think they are. They're not at the bottom of the power rankings. So close.
That was so close.
Unfortunately, I don't think they're that good. They're not as bad as people say, but they're not that good. For the Metal Brick Walls, huge shout out to them. I really feel like this is a team that they just got to play with a chip on their shoulder. Whenever Brett comes on and picks against the team, they just seem to do really well. I think this is a team that if they're expected to win, it's really hard for them to find that motivation. Some might question the accuracy of the Mental Brick Walls name. When they're favored, a little dicey. I think most people are going to be expecting them to win this week. So I'm very, very skeptical of this Brick Walls team. However, I can't, in good faith, pick Undefeated Never Lost right now. I'm going to go with the Mental Brick Walls to take home the win here.
Cha-ching.
Next up, we have Slob taking on Team M. Vanek. Slob, actually, a 50-50 split in this one. Very evenly matched. I think this is one of those matchups where it's just like,
oh! Yes! Clock it.
6 minutes and 29 seconds.
Wow, not bad. We'll see. We'll see if that holds up. Future challengers on the show.
Nooch do better than that.
6:29.
Do your arms hurt?
Yes. Look, I mean, I've got the world record right now, so come at me. Yeah, I'm unchallenged, but there's no way that Nooch is beating that time.
Sure.
Absolutely no way.
So back to the matchup at hand. Slob versus Team M. Vanek. 50-50. I'd like to give a little bit of a shout out to Team M. Vanek. They got a big win last week against the Judon Noodles. I've said before, this is a team I've had my eye on. I didn't think they were up there with the top contenders in the league. But they knocked off one of the teams that is one of the presumptive favorites for the title. So, look, Team M. Vanek, they might have a little something cooking. I think they probably need an extra piece to really solidify themselves. I know they've got a lot of young guys. Don't know how proven they are. Got to see if they can keep the momentum going. For Slob, Look, this team, they're 3 games back in the playoff hunt. There's 5 games to go. They're not mathematically out, but in all sense of the word, they're basically out of the playoffs. I think they're probably going to sell. I know this is 50-50, but I really think Team Mvanek's going to turn the corner, up their game, and I'm going to pick Team Mvanek to take home the victory here.
Great pick, Danny Football. I like the analysis. I think I fundamentally disagree with you on Nucci's character, though.
Really?
He is far, far too proud to sell. He will drive that team into the ground below the dirt. And then, after he's missed the playoffs for the 5th season in a row, he'll say, maybe we should do something about this.
I don't know. Look, I've heard whispers he might be willing to sell.
I've heard whispers from Nucci about a lot of things. I mean, I didn't realize that this taping was going to become a just savage Nucci fest.
Look, it could always be a savage
That's the direction it's going in. But I'm going to give him one because I like the Dobbs Slobbers this week.
Wow.
I'm going with them over Team Mvanek. I just think that there's something magic in the mix.
All right, next up, we have the SWAT team taking on JK Restill Mahorny. SWAT favored at 61%. Joe, what are your thoughts on this matchup?
I buy that. The boys this week are decimated by the bye.
Yes.
I mean, I'm having to trot out Gardy because I've got no other. Well, I do have handsome Jimmy G, but that's not an option that you can
not looking too handsome right now.
No, that's bad. I actually thought about starting Brandon Cooks this week because he's had a couple of good weeks in a row, but
yeah.
I just don't think he's going to make it off the bench. I mean, UNL, you can call me if you really want him back. I've heard whispers because I don't think he's made my lineup since that season
Probably not.
That I rightfully and honestly picked him up off the waivers, setting legal precedent.
Yes.
By the way.
Groundbreaking for the league. Judge Daniel, that was the pinnacle of his career. The man has been retired ever since.
The SWAT team, I mean, league dominant. A little bit on the outs now. TJ Watt's really not shaping up to be what he used to be. Instead, the NFL sack leader is on my starting squad.
Yeah.
So, thank you, Timmy, for that great handshake deal. I'm going with the Horny Boys this week because I have to stand by my squad. Brandon McManus is back off the bye. That boot is elite. I mean, he's been racking up. The few wins that we have this year, I associate with him.
Okay.
He's been the X factor.
All right. I like that pick. I respect it. I think for JK, their big problem, as you mentioned, is the bye. Patrick, known Mahorny boy, not going to be out there in the starting lineup.
He needs a rest. He's got a vacation in Germany this week.
He does. This is another team. They're currently 3 games out of the playoffs, 5 to go. Things aren't looking too hot for the Mahorny boys. But, as I said, the TNN number crunchers, stats, sports analytics people, crunch the numbers. Mahorny also up there in terms of unlucky teams. This team, just going based off of if they played everybody every week, they would be in the playoffs. So, maybe a little unlucky. Some might say the team just doesn't click all at the same time. You know, you got Cooper Kupp, Breece Hall is kind of bad to start the year.
Yeah.
Saquon banged up. Look, they've got the pieces there, but something just does not sit right with me with this team.
We've got the injury bug this year, that's for sure.
Big time.
For sure.
Speaking of the injury bug, SWAT team has just been decimated by injuries. I think this team's got like 8 dudes right now who could be on IR. Most of them usual starters like Rodgers, Nick Bolton. Debo's been hurt for a while. It's slim pickings for the SWAT team and who they got to roll out there. Unfortunately, though, for the rest of the league, this team has shown some positive signs over the last couple of weeks. I think they might be turning a corner. If they decide to buy someone close to the trade deadline, I think they can make that push into the playoffs. JK, I think they're going to have to stay. Mahorny, keep that pent-up energy for one more week. I'm going to go with the SWAT team to take home the victory here.
Reasonable pick.
Moving on, we have Blood, Sweat, and Beers taking on the Judon Noodles. Judon favorite at 61% in this one. Look, the Noodles, they took a big loss last week to Team Vanek. I'm sure they're wishing that they had that one back. This is another team impacted by the bye. The bye, big storyline for the past couple of weeks, especially this week. Chiefs coming back from their Germany game. Travis Kelce not going to be able to play for Timmy.
That's true.
This is
That's
a team.
a big loss.
They really need to turn it around. I think they started out hot. In true Timmy's team fashion, they started out hot, have cooled off since. We'll see if they continue to choke down the stretch. Look, this Blood, Sweat, and Beers team, I think I'd like to put a solid congratulations out to Jacob. I think he's now officially solidified his place in the consolation brackets, not in the playoffs, getting one of those top 6 picks in the draft. Another team, 3 games out of the playoffs, 5 left. I think Jacob has essentially 3 goals for the rest of the season. 1, sell off his old and aging assets. 2, you got to minimize those max points for. And then 3, make sure that he does not have to try to compete with Mike Vanek's beer mile time for next year. If he can get those 3 things done, I think his team's actually in a really good spot. He's got some young talent. I know this man wants to lose, and this team is pesky. Sometimes they give teams a scare, especially overrated teams like the Judon Noodles, known chokers down the line of the season. I think they could get a real scare out of this Blood, Sweat, and Beers team, but I'm going to pick the Judon Noodles to escape narrowly this week.
I really like that analysis, Danny. That's quite good. The Nudes, despite the rant that you just went on, are my season champ favorites.
Really?
Really. I think that...
someone might have to get taken off the Bandits train.
Lead me on the Bandits because I like the Bandits, but I don't like their offense. Their defense has been winning them all these games.
Okay.
That's and I think Timmy's got a great solid base on his D, and like you're saying, his offense needs one little tweak.
He needs something.
One little addition, and that would really push him over the edge. But I mean, I've tried to work with him, and he's just, it's like talking to a brick wall. I mean, he believes in his nudes, which is great.
I don't know if the Devontae trade's going to get it done for him. I'll say it.
I don't know. We'll have to see. That being said, I like the nudes this week. Jacob, he's achieving his goals. I mean, he set out, he made his dream list, and he's just checking them off.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to be happy for him.
Yeah.
So,
shout out to historic owner Jacob. I hope you're in the live chat.
oh, look, there he is.
Finally, we have our marquee matchup of the week. We have Ham and Throw taking on Team Big Chungus 22. Ham and Throw favoring this one at 78%. This is one, look, I know fans are wondering why this is the marquee matchup. It is the only matchup between 2 teams this week that are in playoff contention. Currently, Will's got the 6th spot lined up. Visconti on the 7th. Just on the outside looking in. And this is truly going to be disgusting football. This is, I actually had the experts behind the scenes, our TNN historians, go back and check out when the last time that Ham and Throw was in a marquee matchup. And hold on, I got it right here. It was week 14 of 2021. This is a team that has not played any meaningful football in literally years. So the fact that they were able to get this marquee matchup shows you the desperate state of the league this week. There is not too much going on. And, the story of the week is the bye. And for Will's team, it is going to hit him hard.
Very hard.
This is a man that primarily relies on Jalen Hurts, DeAndre Swift, and Tyreek Hill, who are all going to be out this week. Will, I know last week you did the I'm not going to set my lineup and have Evan Ingram in, who's on a bye strategy, which, worked out somehow. Congratulations. I think there's very much a non-zero chance that Will forgets to set his lineup this week, has like 5 guys in there on a bye, and just hands the victory over to Mike Visconti and Hammond Throw. Everyone knows I hate Hammond Throw. Everyone knows that I hate Hammond Throw.
Not even fans of the show.
Every single person knows. If you've seen, not even if you've seen Danny Football, you look at me and you're like, that dude hates Hammond Throw. I said last week that he better enjoy it because this is the only time I'm going to pick his team all season. Unfortunately, I did not have the foresight to look out and see that Will would just have literally no one to start on his team this week. So, as much as it pains me to say, for the second week in a row, I'm going to pick Hammond Throw to pick up the victory. Please help me. Thank you.
You know, that's very astute. Paul. I think if Will remembers to set his lineup, then this is an easy pick. But as you said, you just don't know.
You just don't know.
I mean, I think he actually has to go to the streets this week to pick up a quarterback. So,
yeah, he might have to.
Will, what are you doing?
Will, if you're watching, please comment. Let the loyal fans know what you're thinking.
Is that? No, that's not him in the live chat. No, it's definitely not. I agree with much of what you said. I'm also, unfortunately, picking Hammond Throw this week.
It's tough.
Mostly because I don't have faith in Will.
No.
I hate to say it. I love the man, but I don't love his fantasy football managing skills. This is a brutal week for the league.
Yeah. Well, Joe, it's been great to have you on. First in-person guest of the year. You put, I think, a pretty respectable time on the Snake.
Yeah.
6:29. We've got a couple challengers coming up. Let's see who takes home the crown this year.
The commissioner also needs to do it.
The commissioner should do it. I think the commissioner might be all right with it, so we'll see.
All right.
You beat me on the heads up by one. So, as we all know, the tie goes to the expert, but for this week and this week only, the tie will go to you. So, it's been great having you on. Wishing you all the best of luck with your picks, of course. Not as good as me, can't beat the expert, but yeah, thank you, Joe.
Thanks, Danny Football.
And thank you, Danny Football and guest Joe, for those great picks. That's all we have for you this time. Be sure to tune in next week to see how things shook out. I'm your host, and this has been TNN.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell.